Hello and welcome to the first episode of the third season of Can It Take a K26? As promised, this season will finally feature the blasters that you've all been asking about so much, magazine-fed blasters. I'm your host, Captain Xavier. Let's meet the first contestant of this season, the Nerf Longshot CS6. So named, of course, because it is part of the clip system and has a magazine capacity of 6. That's right, Nerf refers to it as the clip system when they actually use magazines, and we're all well aware of this. Ironically, the Mag Strike uses a clip. Such is life. Anyway, the Longshot was originally released in 2006 as part of the N Strike series. A yellow version was then released in 2007, and a red version in 2009 as part of a Walmart Black Friday exclusive. And in 2014, the CS12 was released as part of the Zombie Strike line as a Target exclusive. So this blaster has been put out a number of times, and it's no wonder because it is one of the most popular Nerf blasters to this day for modding because it has so much potential. But we're going to see if it can take a K26. Step 1, I gotta get the priming handle off. I think I actually managed to do it without breaking it. Alright, let's take out 9,000 screws. Okay, well, the prevailing theory in the comments, because people have been asking about this blaster since I started this series, is that pretty much all of the clip system blasters are capable of taking K26, but not without at least some modification to the bolt sled. The issue, as with every blaster, is going to be compression. I'm going to admit something that's going to make me sound like the very worst kind of Nerf noob. I've never modded a Longshot before. My first Nerf blaster was a Stampede. It was in fact ire, and as such, that's kind of been where I focused. The short version is, yes, the Longshot CS6 can take a K26, but in order to make it really functional, you would need additional upgrades. A new feature in this season of Can It Take a K26 is going to be science! I now have 3 ways of measuring performance, and hopefully they'll give you a vague benchmark. They're not indisputable, and they're not true measures of really anything. But I've got my bow scale to tell you what the draw weight of the blaster is. I've got a chronometer to tell you the feet per second, and I've got a measuring tape to do long-range testing. The stock Longshot had a 4.5 kilogram draw. It had an average of 50 FPS, and it shot an average of 50 feet. The K26 Longshot came in at 12 kilograms of draw, had an average FPS of 125, and shot an average of 75 feet. Now keep in mind, the only upgrade that I've done to this is the spring. I have not taken out the air restrictor, I have not brassed the breech, I have not replaced any of the other internals other than the catch spring. And even that didn't do very good because it's still not catching consistently. And because of how heavy it is, you pretty much have to brace it against something and prime it with both hands, which is obviously not war practical. Additional upgrades would be needed. You'd probably need to put in a metal bolt sled and the metal catch bolt catch. You definitely need a front pump of some kind, preferably one with a really good grip. So just the K26 upgrade provided a 300% increase in draw weight, a 150% increase in FPS, and a 50% increase in range. I do definitely now understand why people like the Longshot so much. The size of the plunger tube and just the ergonomics of it all are really quite nice. When I finally do the full upgrade on this, which I intend to, I've been meaning to do a full Longshot upgrade for a while now, and now I'm definitely going to. I want to get a pump, a front pump. I want to get the mag release and trigger guard combination. I want to do a different stock. I want to do a brass breech. I want to do it all. I want to do it all. I want the full long shot thing. So there you have it. There's the science behind it. I am fully aware that FPS doesn't really prove all that much. Range tests are very subjective unless you actually have a gun stand and can prove that you're firing consistently. And draw weight, well, draw weight is actually fairly straightforward. Though getting an accurate measure of it can be somewhat difficult when you don't have a loop that you can hook it through. I had to put rope all across it and pull and all of that jazz. But there you have it. There's the numbers. We will see what future numbers give. On to the next contestant. The next contestant is, of course, the long shot front gun. Numerous people requested that I do these two together, and I had always intended to do them together as the first episode of this season, so that is what I am going to do. The front gun was, of course, released with all of the versions of the CS6, but was not released with the CS12 for whatever reason. It is reverse plunger, and everybody knows it is very, very underpowered, but we're going to see if it can take K26. I doubt it, but we are going to see what we can do to it. This one, I probably will go ahead and remove the AR and try brassing it and try to put in a heavier spring, and we will see what that does. But first, we must answer the question, can it take a K26? Let's find out. For way more effort than it could possibly have been worth, we have gotten into the inside of the front gun. And as you can see, this thing is tiny. But we're going to see what we're going to do with it. We will start, of course, by drilling out the AR and possibly brassing the barrel if it doesn't disintegrate when we try to take out the AR. Alright, AR has been removed and the breech has been brassed, though we may end up discovering that this thing is so anemic it can't actually clear a brassed barrel, but we'll find out. Now we need to see if we can't find a better spring. Putting in a sizable spring upgrade as well as a brassed barrel with the AR removed. We might be able to make this front gun something that isn't complete crap. Well, let's see if it's got any power at all. Alright, the numbers are in on the modded front gun with the AR removed, the brass barrel, and the spring upgrade. The stock front gun came in at 3.5 kilograms of draw, averaged around 30 to 35 feet per second, and had about an average of 20 feet of range. Whereas the modified one has approximately 7 kilograms of draw, had an average FPS of 50, and fired an average of 50 feet. One slight anomaly came in at almost 60 feet, but I think that's because it was angled up slightly, which kind of demonstrates the wishy-washiness of these numbers. But there you have it. Let's take a look at the final scores. Alright, for those of you keeping score at home, that was a yes for the Longshot CS6, though to be actually practical, it would need a number of additional upgrades, including a front pump and at least probably a replacement catch and probably a replacement bolt sled relay. So keep that in mind. And that was a no for the front gun, but yes to some fairly decent upgrades. Brass barrel, doubled the spring, and then some, and removed the AR. So between them, they're actually not a bad combination at this point. I definitely plan to go ahead and do the full upgrade on the Longshot. I've been meaning to for a while, just haven't gotten around to it, so look forward to that. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, want to tell me what I should do next, go ahead and leave it in the comments below, and as always, thank you for watching.